Hey, guys, what's another video? So today I'm with Josh and Gent, so lads.
Right. Yeah.
So today, as international break has finally ended, let's get back to the Premier League predictions. So then to start off, last week, the week fours, Man U Everton boys. Josh, what do you think happened in that game, really?
Well, Man United were, I'd say, dominant in the first half, especially.
Yeah.
I'd say they had most of control of the game. However, they just don't have those DMs to stop counter-attacks. And against these teams, Everton, they got good enough players to punish you, even with players missing. Townsend, he did that. And I think they nearly scored the end, Yerry Mina, if he just timed his run a little. And I don't know what it is with Man United. I think it's completely down to the coaching, and that midfield is just not good enough. There's no defensive discipline there. So,
yeah,
I think Man United are really going to struggle with that midfield.
I do agree. So no one got any points on that. Josh popping off again with Wolves Newcastle. Fair enough there.
Yeah, the table up soon. I'll be mind the gap, lad.
And he got another point for the Leeds v Watford game. He's on fire.
Outrageous.
I think, again, we all thought Chelsea would storm this game, but they actually struggled, didn't they, gents?
Yeah, it did. It was 3-1 in the end, was it? Because I think Southampton got a goal. No, I wouldn't say he struggled, really. Like, Southampton did put up a fight, but again, it's Chelsea. I think they're going to win the league. But no, I think, like, Southampton, they played their best, but I guess it's Chelsea again. So they can't really win a game like
On to
that.
the next one. Josh still going strong with another point in the Burnley game. However, me and Gents both getting points on the Arsenal-Brian game. Again, it wasn't the greatest game, was it, Josh?
Pardon?
It wasn't the greatest game, the Brian game, was it?
No. It's one of the worst I've watched in the whole league this year. And I think that Burnley Norwich one on the same weekend's up there. I'll tell you what, match of the day on that night wouldn't have been very good.
And then on to West Ham Brentford. Josh again. He's going to keep going strong.
Honestly, in this one, I think it was 1-0 Brentford until about 85th, 6th minute. And I was thinking, listen, stay the same. They went and scored, and then scored West Ham scored, and they scored. So I'll take a point in the end, but
that's a point though. Take it. The big man getting the Villa score right, gents.
Oh.
You slammed me off for this game. However, I told you.
I was close. I was thinking, as soon as Villa equalised, 1-1 is a very possible score here.
Yeah. Palace Leicester. I thought we all thought Palace were going to win this game.
In the end, to be fair, Leicester went 2-0 up, but in the end, like that, we weren't too far off. 1 goal for Leicester, and then we're all getting the score right. But
Liverpool City, this is a really tough game. I was really close actually.
On paper, it was such a draw.
Goal.
I don't know why no one went for a draw, because on paper it was the most. I think I might have even said it if you watched the video from last week that I was so close. I was saying this could be a draw very easily, but we just
really good game actually to watch.
Win for someone.
Yeah.
Then, as you saw, the vlog, Albion Stoke with a poor performance from the lads. The 1-0 loss, not the greatest, was it, gents?
First loss of the season as well. So
don't remind him. Then Blues. I thought Forest would wallop him, as Steve Cooper now in charge of Forest, of course.
I am backing Blues ever again. Every single week, they let me down.
I don't think you will for this week either, Josh.
I didn't
so that was last week's predictions. Now getting on to this week's. I'm just saying, guys, Josh is storming ahead. Put it that way.
We will get the table up. Hopefully next week we'll have the table of points for us and the guests.
So then this week, what for Liverpool? I know you think to yourself, why on earth have I gone 1-1? I feel like Watford are at home, new manager in. Is it true, Josh, that Alisson might not be playing? Or was that just me?
Is it something to do with the Southern American?
Yeah, like something about there's like 35 hours or something like that. They might be able to play.
Like 16 players who might not be able to play this weekend or something like that.
And I feel like if those players are Alisson...
There's games. Brazil are playing tonight.
That's what I mean, yeah. So he might be able to play me in that. What might have a chance.
Muddled up, like.
And as Ranieri said in this morning's interview, if they get clean sheet, they get a night out. It's fair enough to them. Next one, Southampton Leeds. Trent, why have you got 1-0?
No, because I think Southampton's back line has been up there in one of I know it's a bit bold, but one of the top 5 best back lines this season. Like, it kept a clean sheet against City as well. And I feel like Leeds, like they've just come off the win against, I can't remember who it was, it might have been Watford. But no, just come off that win and they may carry a bit of momentum. But I think Southampton's back line's too much for them. And then I think Bamford still may be out, but they still do have good enough players. But I think Southampton, Adam Armstrong just nick it.
Okay. Norwich Brighton. Josh, do you feel like Norwich will still struggle?
Yeah, we've all got put them down to not even score a goal. I think that says it all, really. They don't really have a threat. Have they scored a goal yet? Yeah, they scored one. Leicester at home.
Leicester at home, yeah. That's right.
But they just look so poor. And I mean, Burnley, they look poor, but you just know with Burnley, they will find that next year at some point in the season. Whether it's too late this year, maybe they do finally go down.
I
Who knows?
think
It's not looking good for Norwich.
Gents, what are your opinions on Brighton this season?
No, they're sixth, I think, sixth, fifth, somewhere around there, maybe seventh. But no, I think they've had a really good start. Graham Potter doing his magic again, of course. No, I think the signings they brought in, like Cucurella and Ben White going as well, which is kind of a shame. But again, Shane Duffy, Lewis Dunk, and I think it's, I've forgotten his name, the really tall guy. But no,
Dan Burn.
Say again?
Dan Burn.
Yeah, Dan Burn, and then you got Robert Sanchez in goal. Yeah, well, anyway, them at the back line, they've been really solid all season, really. I know it's only 7 games in, but like to be fair, they deserve where they should be, and I reckon they could push for a top 10 next year. No,
yeah,
not next year.
Josh, do you feel like Duffy's been a vital part this season for Brighton?
I think he's come back from Celtic and proved a point to Potter, so I don't really think he was in Potter's plans. He's come back, he's defended well, and he's also scored a lot of goals, whether it's for Brighton or Ireland. He's been chipping in with goals. Speaking of Ireland goals, we'll move on to that shortly.
Will do. Manu Leicester. Leicester are struggling a lot at the moment, gents. Could you put a point on why?
Matt, I think it's the centre-back partnership, really. I would have to put it down to that. Like, they haven't really found a connection, and Farm is still out as well. He was the main centre-back last year. But I think they're playing Vestergaard at the back with Johnny Evans. It might be still on YouTube, but
yeah,
no, they're not really gelling that well. And then the fullbacks as well. Like, I feel like there's not something missing. I think something's just going wrong in the changing room, so I don't really trust each other that much. But I've gone 2-0 for this game because I know Jamie Vardy's at top, but I don't see much for Leicester to score in this game with a Mangy backline as well and informed David De Gea. So.
Josh, do you follow the poor run of results that Brendan Rodgers has at the moment might influence his job?
Yeah, I honestly thought I did say in the podcast the other day, I can't see him going to Newcastle. However, the more I look back on it, I step away, have a look at it. I'm thinking it's the perfect time for Rodgers to sort of walk out that Leicester door because I could only see it going downhill more from here. They don't look good at all this season. Something's missing. And I think they've got a good enough squad. Whether that's just hangover from the last 2 seasons of just missing out the Champions League, maybe. And I think they'll lose again here. By the way, disclaimer: this game is actually at King Power, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Man City Burnley. I feel like again this could be a big Man City win. However, Burnley have looked good in stages this season. Man City sometimes do struggle to get the goal. However, I feel like they should be an easy win, shouldn't it, gents?
Yeah, well, I put 1-0. I think they will win. They'll get a lot of chances, but I think Burnley will defend quite well against City, like Southampton did, and Southampton managed to get a draw. But no, I would say it's a high-scoring game, but like with Man City, like don't really have a striker like Ferran Torres doing okay. I couldn't really see them scoring over 2 goals.
Ferran Torres is injured now.
Is
he injured? Well, Jesus playing on the wing, so goodness.
It'd be like Jesus, Sterling, Grealish, or I think Mahrez has been kind of pushed to the side, and I don't really agree with. I think he was their best player last season, if not up there, but being their best player.
Okay, on to the next one. This will be a really interesting game. I feel like Brentford has shown their worth in the Prem at the moment, and I feel like against the tough side of the table, I feel like they really can give them a real good game. As we put by our scorelines, it'll be a real close game, won't it, Josh?
Yeah, I think it's with Brentford this season. They've got that Leeds effect, the Leeds factor of last season, and maybe the Wolves the season before. You watch them and you're excited to watch them playing. There's normally goals. I think that's the same with Brentford this season. Just let's everyone get them on the TV as much as possible because their game seems to be exciting to watch, and I feel Chelsea will just have a little bit too much for them.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford nick this or it's a draw. So I could have honestly gone either way here. However, Chelsea have that extra bit of quality that would push me towards Chelsea.
Yeah. I know, Jens, you were telling me earlier about this predictor, this computer predicting the league. Could you tell me where it put Brentford again?
It put them in Champions League for 4th place, which is a bit out there. But no, I wouldn't say I could see them getting top 4. But that just shows that if you're getting a supercomputer again predicting them 4th place, goodness knows what could happen. I honestly maybe push a Europa Conference League this year, I reckon. And I know it's their first season, but just look at the form they're in. Nicking wins left, right, and centre. So gotta give it to them.
Really agree with you. Then one of the bigger games in the league, gents. As you're a fan, what are you thinking towards this game?
Well, I've only just seen Josh had put 1-1, but no, of course I got back Villa, but I was listening to a podcast, Ben Foster, and he was talking about when he was talking to John Ruddy, and John Ruddy was saying that Wolves should have won every single game this season, but they haven't had a goal scorer. Like Jimenez hasn't been performing, so I'm kind of worried to play, but it is at Villa Park, so hopefully I'll back the boys and we'll get the win. But Wolves, honestly, they're kind of underrated this season. They haven't won too many games. They brought in some decent signings. They could really hit us hard, but we'll wait and see.
I do feel like with Villa and Wolves, they're both sides that can turn the styles and perform really to a good Prem level. And I feel like, in my opinion, I'm not the biggest fan of both sides. However, I do think Villa will just about edge on this one. Another interesting game, Everton-West Ham. Josh, you've gone for a draw. Do you think it'll be a close one then?
Yeah, they're both teams who have had good games this season. I'd say they're both in good form, yeah. I was going to say West Ham lost to Brentford, but Brentford are doing really well. And, West Ham have got a lot of games this season. Europa League maybe catching up with them a little. I do think it's going to be a tight game. Both teams playing well. So, yeah, that pretty much explains why I've gone for a draw. I think Townsend looks good. West Ham have got Declan Rice. I think he's at the top of his game right now. England, I've watched some of his England training. He looks a heck of a player. So I think it's going to be a tight game.
James, do you feel like we need to see more from players like Koufan and Souček this season? Or do you feel like you need to watch them a bit more to see what they do on the pitch?
No, I feel like that. I wouldn't say they're performing as well as last season, but last season has been by far their best season for both of them. But no, I would say you expect more, but like people have high expectations now for West Ham because of their players last season, and I feel like he's not playing up to the level that he was last season, but he is like staying around it. Like he hasn't shown potential to get like 10 assists again or whatever, but because he isn't getting to the pitch that much. But no, I think he'll come into it, and yeah, it's only 7 games in, and you still got like 30 games left, so you'll wait and see.
Okay, Newcastle Spurs. This is another really interesting game. I feel like now the Saudis are coming off Newcastle. I feel like the fans are kind of back on with Newcastle. Of course, they still want Bruce gone. It looks like that Steve Bruce will have his 1,000th game in charge. I just feel like there's a bit more spirit around the club, aren't there, gents?
Yeah, there is, especially with the Saudis coming in. Like, it's massive boost to the fans and the club, I guess. But no, it's at Newcastle as well, and all the fans are going to be buzzing with the new owners, and they're just going to be absolutely buzzing at the stadium, and that's just going to drive the Newcastle players. And honestly, I just think they're going to nick a winner. They are like, I know Spurs 2-0 last week about 2 weeks ago against Villa, but I could honestly see it happening 1-0 Newcastle, especially with the fans and the motivation from the Saudis.
Yeah. Josh, do you feel like now the Saudis have come in, for this game especially, the players have got a point to prove?
Yeah, they've got a point to prove. There's a lot of money in that club now that could easily, if they're not putting their weight, they've got that money behind them to go, right, you're not good enough. Yeah. Whereas in the past, Newcastle, you could say they're one of the very few clubs in the league where there's players that aren't quite doing it for them. They haven't really got much somewhere to go to replace them. Like you got players like Dummer who've been there for years and years now. He's still in and around the squad, but you can tell he's just nowhere near good enough. And I think this money now coming in, they're going to be a huge force for the future. Newcastle are. So yeah, I think these players, so kind of an audition on Sunday for them.
Yeah. And I think one of the last Prem games is Arsenal v Palace, Josh. Big game for you.
Week.
I do feel like this game may be a close one, as I've put in the prediction. I feel like Palace and Arsenal both got that quality. Maybe Arsenal have shown it more in recent weeks. However, I feel like if Palace have got Elise back at the full fitness and against Leicester look really good, if Edwards starts banging a couple more goals like he did when he came on for his debut, I feel like Arsenal can struggle. To be honest with you, let's be honest. Against Spurs, were they tested? No. Was it Burnley and Norwich you played, Josh?
Yeah, it was two decent wins. But I think here...
I just feel like you weren't tested though, were you?
Vieira's been on the phone to Arteta. Vieira, club legend. He needs to help us out, and I think he's got it.
Nah, maybe, but I just feel like you weren't tested enough in those games, and I feel like if
maybe, but at the same time,
test you a lot,
I
just feel like you might struggle.
Tottenham are no mugs, well, they are mugs, but they're a good side. They got quality players, world class striker. Son, apart from the goal, we kept them quiet all game, and you can say off days, but off days to an extent, you've also got to credit the team they're playing sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, you were really good in the derby. However, I just feel like you might struggle maybe against Palace because they're a unique team, aren't they, gents?
Yeah, they are. They've shown a lot of promising signs, but I'll put 1-0 because it's at the Emirates with all the fans behind them. And Arsenal on a little bit of form. I don't think they've lost out 3 games, and I think they're starting to pick up the pieces now. So
yeah,
I think that'll just
before we carry on, I'm just going to say, guys, I do like Arsenal. I'm not going to be against them every single week. Now, onto the big game for the weekend, tomorrow's vlog, Albion v Blues. Make stick for that one. I feel like hopefully in this one we can get back to winning ways. Robbo scoring a hat-trick in midweek, boys. What are you saying about
that? Yeah, no. All right. It may be against some, chippy shot workers or farmers or whatever.
If he's scoring the goals, though, he's got to have that, that confidence to score more goals. Do you agree, James?
Well, he's obviously confident if he's doing no-look penalties and
exactly
all of this, but...
Gents, who can you see being a main threat for the Albion in this game?
Main threat to the Albion? Well, it's got to be informed Callum Robinson, I guess, if he starts, of course.
Where's his team of the week on FIFA, by the way?
That is exactly, Josh. Where is it? That is my question to you.
Does he deserve it?
He does.
No, I'm joking.
Gents, do you feel like Jordan Hugo still has a point to prove, or do you feel like his time is up?
I'm going to be honest here.
Just right.
I'm going to be honest. I think his time's up because he's come on loan off Norwich. It's not the greatest of signings, and you had a glimmer of hope for him. And he's had chances. He hasn't really put them away. And I'm not going to lie, I think he might turn into a Kenneth Sahor. Not going to lie, I think he'll go down.
Getting booed off by the fans in a home game versus Arsenal.
Okay, then. So I think that's it for this week's games. However, before we go, lads, in your opinion, who would you say is the best international team at the moment?
Who starts? Gents, I'll let you.
You know what, Josh? I'll let you go first.
You want me to go first? Okay. I don't think right. Just before I say this, I've got to pick the best of what I think is a fairly poor bunch at the minute. I don't think there's any international side.
Is there?
They look at the top of their game. I think England are up there. We haven't lost a qualifier for over 10 years nearly now, I think. And then I think Spain look good.
Yeah.
Although they lost the other night, I do think they look good. France, they're going to be in there, but I think in terms of France's ability and standards, they're not even doing that well. They had poor Euros. Portugal, again, poor Euros. Belgium, they got a lot of old players now. I think Italy, but I think that might have been a little bit of a honeymoon. I'm going to go England or Spain. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go Spain because I feel like, they got a bit more recent history to show for it. Was England.
Yeah.
They just kind of bottle jobs in them.
I'll probably agree with you. Gents?
I knew my show went straight to my head, and it's Scotland. And them trying to get into the World Cup and doing the qualifiers. Honestly, I honestly think that Scotland are going to get into the World Cup.
When you think they're the best team at the moment in the world?
not the best team, but you said the most like on form. I would say our best on form team. I'd say
They beat Faroe Islands and bloody
Israel.
oh, they beat
yeah,
Israel in the 96th minute. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but like that's absolute limbs for them, and like Scotland are doing well, and they're trying to push the World Cup, and I think they're second in their group, which is proper decent for them, and I'd love to see them in the World Cup. But no, I think they got a drive to get into the World Cup now. They're on like 2 winning streak, it might be, or they may have drawn or something. But yeah.
For me, I feel like one of the best international sides at the moment definitely has to be Spain. I feel they proved by their point by beating Italy. France are up there, but again, as Josh said, they're not as good as they look. But for me, it's got to be Spain.
There's some problems in the dressing room with France as well.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, that's right. I'm pretty sure about that after the penalty loss against Switzerland, I'm pretty sure. Thanks for watching this week's video, guys. Make sure you keep up to date with the vlogs and, of course, keep up to date with the videos and subscribe. Josh, anything to say?
No, I think you've covered it already. Yeah. Wait out for the match day vlog, hopefully tomorrow. It'll probably be Saturday. And yeah, that's all. Just follow the TikTok, the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube, follow the Instagram. Check what's going on. And we'll,
Guys, thanks for watching this week's video. Bye, lads.
See ya.